has to win this one before they go for their mid-session break, or else he's had not the perfect start by any means to the evening session. You know he's playing well. Unfortunately for him, so is Mark Selby.
John Higgins to break.
There's an interesting dynamic here as Higgins breaks off brilliantly. He knows from bitter personal experience that a 7-4 deficit can be easily overcome. The last time he played in a ranking final, 2022 Tour Championship, Higgins was 9-4 up on Neil Robertson, collapsed and lost 10-9.
Touching ball.
And if you're wondering, has a frame been re-racked twice? The answer is yes, on many occasions.
And second, I think he's touching. Yeah, touching ball.
Two identical shots from both of these two. Might as well put him back in. I don't think it's going to be very costly for Mark Selby, quite honestly. Well, he's staying there down that end because in case it's touching again, but this time I don't think it is. It is a very big passage of play coming up though, isn't it, this frame? It just feels that there's such a gulf between the two players at 8-4. It was a safety shot like the others, but it was an attacking one. He knew he was opening reds up, so he thinks he's maybe just got to be a little bit more adventurous with even the safety shots. John Higgins against the Iron Man here, who just will as we saw last night, and wait all evening for a chance if need be. Terrific shot.
One.
Yes, for a point, but might be able to just lay it. A very awkward snooker for John Higgins here. We were looking at the, trying to cut off escape routes.
Nice
I
Selby
think he
one.
has cut a few off there by getting so close in behind the brown.
That's Selby's modus operandi. Doesn't just want a snooker, he wants the most fiendish one imaginable.
Maybe with a trace of left-hand side, he can just play off this left cushion here. A little bit of room behind the brown. Twice across. Well, I think the snooker that marked Selby, it might not have been the most fiendish imaginable, but it was an awkward one. I suppose if you played it 10 times, you mightn't leave that red over the hole very often, but he has that on that occasion. So very much advantage Selby in the exchange we've just seen.
Thank you.
If we can level one criticism at Selby this week, on several occasions, when he's had momentum, he's not been able to keep it for a sustained period. Yes, he's found a way in the end to get over the line, but it's taken a while. This afternoon, though, when he started to play well, he continued to do so. And I think it's really crucial. He presses home this obvious advantage.
Seven. $14. $15.
Has not worked out as he planned at
20.
all. He'd be hopeful of being on one, however he hit them. He didn't quite execute the shot as he would hope to in that top red half ball, and just taking the cue ball away from the bunch brought down his chances of being on something quite a lot. So now we're back on trying to leave places on the table where John Higgins will not like to be positioned.
Selby 20.
These two share so many attributes, one of which is when they do surrender position, they just take a moment, assess the situation, don't cry over spilt milk, and think about playing the best possible safety thereafter.
Well, that red will go, but I don't know if you can see enough of it. You can certainly pass the one up the table. It might be looking at the red directly below the pink spot. Either way, he must think something is available to him. I think it's the red by the pink spot indeed. Certainly, it's just been the one thing with Mark Selby where he hasn't been able to just accelerate away from players. That's why he's had so many close finishes. It's very difficult to beat John Higgins in any match. But I don't know if he ever loses a little bit of his focus when he goes in front.
Now can Higgins cue this one on the nose?
One.
There's a big reward now.
Six. Seven.
Well, chances like this have not been coming along that often tonight.
13.
An evening of high-class safety and tactical play. But for now, John
40.
needs to take these.
19. Thank you. 20.
Well, is he on the black? Well, no, he's not. Goodness. He could have afforded to screw back a little bit too far and had the pink from further up, even the blue if he really misjudged it, but that was the worst outcome. Yes, he's got the pink, and he's got that red up the table, but he's got to play it well. This is not part of the original plan, playing up there. Well recovered.
$26.
Ideally, would have liked to retain this red for a rainy day, as it were. There was no option. He just felt as though break went on.
26.
He was getting more and more out of kilter. What a bonus for Selby to come back to the table so swiftly.
Yeah, but it does stem back to that shot he played with the rest, doesn't it? Because, yes, he was on the red, but, you know, the pink up the table, all of these things were not what he was hoping for. I think when a player loses position, they gradually get further out of position. And this was the shot. He could have afforded to go back further with that cue ball because there were so many options, but finishing there, he was limited. Mark Selby will certainly recognise the signs that his opponent is giving off here, and he'll be fully aware of the importance of this visit to the table.
Max Selby 4.
Quite amazing, isn't it, how well they played this afternoon.
As the winning line approaches, tension in both cue arms increasing.
One.
What is going to happen next? That could not have finished worse. Whoever loses this frame is going to be very disappointed, even if it is Selby still a couple of frames up. But this cue ball has just landed on top of the two reds. Now he's just having to play safe. Seemed very unlikely.
Johnny Higgins 1.
Very elusive frame, this one, isn't it, now, it seems.
And for all of the high quality we've seen in this match, the way it works, so often, it's the lower quality, scrappy frames that have the biggest psychological impact because, as Neil pointed out, both players No, they've had chances. Those chances have been squandered, and there's just 6 in it. Everything to play for.
Well, he could only have left. I read that he played and missed. Well, Johnny's a master player of doubles, but I don't know if this could make this into one. Could play it into the right middle or double it into the left. I don't know if that's on. Well, it always is with John, isn't it? It didn't look natural. Looked like the cue was a little bit further down the table, but John has been knocking those in for all of his career.
Eight.
Mine's a double, said Higgins, but will it be champagne at the end of the evening?
Nine. Fifteen. Sixteen.
Goodness me, what is he doing? Unless he tried to spot something. The cue nearly went in two there. I can understand his annoyance, but you whack the cue against the cushion rail.
$23.
For a split second there, you saw Higgins. He was petrified. He'd accidentally damaged the cue, a cue he loves. Now, though, he's on the verge of punching a hole in Selby's lead.
Do you know what I'm going to say? I think both players really need their 15 minutes. And that includes John, who looks like he's won this frame because
30.
he's kind of limped over the line in this frame, barring Snookers. I'm not sure his concentration is as good as it might have been at the start of the evening.
John Higgins, 30.
So it looks like he's got the snooker, and if he can get the frame one, I think he and Mark will just enjoy a little time to reflect on what we've seen before we get into the final phase of it all. mean, with snooker, right, you think you know what's going to happen next, but that cue nearly ended up in 2 pieces. And he could have never known that was about to happen. He lost his other cue a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it? He got rained upon at an airport, I think Charles de Gaulle in France, Paris. And it got warped, so now he's got this new cue.
If there's one player you don't want chasing, needing a snooker against you, it is Mark Selby. And the ball's not badly placed to lay a trap. Selby's the one who finds the blue, the blocker.
Yes, and those ball colours are very appealing. That's the worry for John, that he hasn't quite put this frame to bed yet, because the 3 bolt colours like that, it's a huge target for any player, but certainly someone with the defensive skills of Mark Selby. I'm sure that one will be good enough to get the 4-point penalty, if it is a snooker, which I'm sure it is. But either way, yeah, this has been a strange frame. It wouldn't rule out another twist somewhere.
Yeah, I think it's been the most nervy frame of the entire match. The 9th frame was the lengthiest of the match, but that's been eclipsed by this one. Higgins, though, has a clear path to this red. And that should be that. Selby enjoyed a 2-frame lead starting the evening's
5.
play.
7.
It remains exactly the same. The first 4 frames of this session
10.
have been shared. We've gone from the
14.
brilliance of this afternoon to the battle of this evening.
19. 25 in the frame. John Higgins.
And maybe the very best, certainly in terms of drama, is yet to come. At the mid-session interval, Mark Selby leads John Higgins by 7 frames to 5.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back our players in John Higgins and Mark Selby with referee Ben Williams.
Let's try.
This afternoon, these two great players made the game look ridiculously easy. Tonight, at times, they've made it look what it actually is.
13
Hard.
frame. Mark Selby to break.
Different sort of session, but still plenty to play for. Mark Selby will be disappointed, I think. He couldn't increase his lead. He had a chance for 8-4, 7-5, with, of course, 10 the target to become champion. So this now the fight to the finish. Two players well used to winning tournaments. John Higgins has won 54 professional titles. Mark Selby 37. But have both waited a while for their last ranking success. So whoever comes through at the finish, it's going to be a big night for them. We just saw the Champion of Champions trailer. John Higgins has been an ever-present in that since the first staging in 2013. He's not in it yet this year. Mark Selby and Judd Trump, in fact, the only other two players who played in every one of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can he, the player, step it up? Maybe that both do. John Higgins needs to right now. 7-5 down.
One.
His highest break tonight, just 47. But the night's not done yet. He's in. He's had the 15 minutes. I think they both appreciated that chance to get out of the arena.
Yeah, John just considering whether to have a pass at the pink and the reds, try and get something in play. Yeah, that's probably the correct decision. You know, try and build a lead.
6. Seven.
Yeah, okay, he's on a
12.
choice of a couple, but none very appealing. I actually think he didn't go in because he's got that wry look in his face, like, yeah, that's what I felt was going to... It's one of those nights, isn't it? One of those sessions, unlike this afternoon. Players do get that. They get a vibe and a feeling going into the pack that, you know, if you don't have a good vibe about it, you tend to shy off. It's a tough one.
He's also a tough one, though, isn't he, John Higgins? 30 years since he won the first of his 31 ranking titles. 3.5 years since the most recent success. He's lost in 7 of his last 8 ranking finals. But there's no disgrace in that. You're always going to be playing another top player, another player in form. Of course, there were a couple of close ones he failed to close out. That was the start of a few problems he's had. And he dropped out the top 16 a week ago, but we know he's already back in, just reaching the final here.
15.
And if he's going to come good at any point, it's going to be at this part of the tournament, isn't it? When you have to. He's done that so many times before.
$16.
I know one thing, if he wins tonight, that baggage handler, Charles de Gaulle Airport, might get a little bottle of wine or something, because oddly enough, his old cue getting wrecked. Done him a favour, he loves this new one.
Just not happening when he plays into them. Yes, he's still got one, but awkward
21.
cueing it. It's going to depend on how centre he can get to the cue ball. Yeah, it's hampered badly. Gonna have to go extremely high on the cue ball to find as much centre of it as possible. See how high that is. His tip there at address.
Yeah, just the little things he needs to be going for him are not at the moment. So it's a little sort of mental test to accept that and try and stay focused.
Green ball. John Higgins, 22.
Yeah, disappointed, but at least he leaves the table giving Mark a problem. He was wise enough, as always, to keep the cue ball central. When you do that, it gives your opponent, when the reds are like this, it gives them less to work with as far as getting the cue ball back to bulk. Yeah, I don't even think that's an option. It may be that he's got to have a mini gamble and just try and leave the cue ball in the corner. He's attempting the return. No, almost playing what you call the old Ray Reardon shot, the in-off. If it goes in, you actually don't mind. But played it as well as could be expected. Yeah, there's the tap. Call that the Ray Reardon shot. It was one of those. He was a sly old fox. The great Ray Reardon. And he would play that shot and going off and pretend to look disappointed when he actually played it.
Ray Reardon, the oldest ranking event winner at 50. John Higgins tonight, if he wins, would become second oldest. Turn 49 in May. Ray's record's going to go, isn't it? I think we know the candidates. I know 3 of them who could take it in the next year or so. Of course, Mark Williams won the Tour Championship just a few weeks after turning 49 earlier this year. Ronnie O'Sullivan will be that age in December. Yeah, he got away with that one. Raises his hand to acknowledge it. It was all very free-flowing this afternoon, wasn't it? But perhaps inevitably it's become a more tense affair this evening as we get nearer to the business end of this whole tournament. Yeah, so mistake from Higgins. Selby coming up to 26 minutes. There you go, since his last pot.
Well,
he's going to get close to a red, he's going to need all his reserves of power with this shot. Oh, that is a fabulous shot. It really is. And if the black goes, which I'm pretty certain it does, this might be a better chance after this next shot. But that was pure class, that brown.
Six.
It's been 18 months since his last success in a ranking event, but maybe the talk of the sort of drought is a little overstated
13.
because he's actually won a
20.
2 in 1 shot this time. Try and flick the red half ball. The right side of it, obviously. If you miss it, pink is waiting.
$21.
Just didn't judge the pace of it.
$27. $28. $34. Mark Selby, 34.
That annoyed him. There was some hard work still to come in this frame, but that miss frustrated him. Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
This final's following a similar path to last year's British Open final. Mark Williams got the better of Mark Selby 10-7. It was a score fest in the afternoon, and then in the evening, of the 9 frames, there were only a couple of 60-odd breaks, so the scoring dried up then as well. Oh, John, foul 7 if the black... Oh, wow.
Foul.
That is a
Miss.
major mistake.
Max Selby 7.
Really is. So Mark Selby, helped by the 7 points, 19 in front.
1.
Yeah, 19 and 3 pinks is 40, so looking for one of the reds on the cushion.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like a different
7.
match, but it's not through want of trying. They've still been attacking. It's just that mistakes have crept in. It must be to do with the fact that, you know, there's a big title on the line, and it is big, despite all they've won between them. When you've gone a while without one, it's a big prize to land and really give yourself an injection of confidence going forward the rest of the season.
8.
For Selby, of course, he's already in the Champion of Champions. He did win the Championship League, but the Players' Series, that would be certainly the first couple of events of that would be locked down for him. But also he's been looking to enjoy snooker again, and of course, it's just a fact.
14.
You enjoy it more when you're winning.
$15.
No heroics here. Dead straight would be absolutely fine.
$21. $22.
Yeah, absolutely made sure. Quite rightly, 2 snookers needed.
Pink bowl.
Yeah, that's a massive help as well. 47 in front now. So
28.
okay with the red on. The free ball is a possibility, but Mark Selby, well, he may be snookered himself, but still a big favourite.
Max Selby 28.
It was a big error from Higgins to catch that black the way he did.
Frame conceded. Frame max
Conceded
out.
enough of that frame. So he's won
Thank you, the
37
14th frame.
professional titles, but
John Higgins to
strangely,
break.
none of the ones we've covered here over the last decade on ITV. And we remind him all the time of that. But after tonight, that might have to stop because he's 2 away from lifting this British Open title. John Higgins has got to try and cut out the errors that simply weren't there this afternoon. Although he was 5-3 down, he played outstandingly well himself. But the breaks have dried up tonight. It's been a more disjointed affair. There's still time for that to change. For Higgins, though, it'll have to be soon. Another fabulous pot. It's almost the hallmark of how well a player is cueing. It's such a difficult shot that to even get close to the pot, in all honesty. And he's looking to press ahead with the long, straightish green. Oh, that's superb. That is wonderful. It really is. And there was no hesitation. Didn't even think about the safety shot.
Ball.
Yeah, reminiscent actually of this afternoon, the quality that we saw, as David said. Really is. When he gets in form, this fella, he's unplayable. Yeah, there have been several times in this tournament where he's gone on the offensive, he's pressed. We saw it last night, actually, with Mark Allen after that seemingly interminable re-rack in frame one. Straight away when the frame actually started again, he was on the attack. And maybe at 8-5, a little bit more breathing space. This is the time now. He's sensing he can all but get the match won. Of course, he had all those deciders earlier in the tournament. He is sort of known for them. He'd much rather win more comfortably. That was a fabulous shot as well. What it means is that he's pretty much guaranteed the low black
18.
now, almost picking his spot from the left wing to meet the right half of the pack, I would imagine. They're going deep on the cue ball.
19.
Okay, so there's the low black. I mean, as far as going deep and getting the cue ball spinning through them, he's the man for the job, but boy, there's a lot of reds to get through. See? Oh, wow. What a shot that is. Not many players in the game could get the cue ball spinning the second time. Watch this. Once, twice, actually 3 times. Wonderful shot.
$27. $32. $33.
The action he gets on the cue ball is largely because of the length of the backswing. Just watch it when he plays a
38.
shot with any power. It's so long. I mean, he's a big fella, so he actually disguises it well. But it comes all the way back.
39.
See, he's able to get the cue ball spinning that bit better when he's near his best. Also gives you such a wider range of shots. Looking at the cannon, so he must be playing it because there's no loose red to play on. Almost try to find the gap through them, just there. Perfect.
$44. $45. $50. $51.
So he has engineered a wonderful opportunity to get to within one of victory. Talk about his form and, you know, a slight title drought, but of course he has had off-table issues which he's opened up about
56.
that have obviously affected his game. I think for Mark Selby though, and it's been true since he was a boy, the snooker table has always been a haven away from the outside world. It's where he almost feels the most comfortable.
$57.
One of the great champions in any era. He could have competed in any era that you can pick with this all-round game he's got. Tactical nous, his potting, his shot making, his break building, his temperament. And it seems it's all coming together again here. So as you see, this is the ball that should get him to 9-5 and to the brink of victory in this British Open final. This has been another masterful break. This is the sort of snooker he was playing this afternoon.
$71.
He's already Selby made two
72.
total clearances in this match, 137 and 135 this afternoon. You did say, Alan, at the start of the week we were chatting backstage that you thought he was playing well. You'd noticed it as the
79.
season had gone on.
Yeah, well, I was lucky to spend quite a bit of time with Mark last week in Brentwood at the English Open
80.
and chatted to him, basically chatting snooker and his form, how he's feeling, how he's playing. And there was an awful lot of good stuff in there. Ultimately, he did terribly disappointing result in the quarter-final to Ishpreet Singh Chadha 5-4 on the black. But I've seen enough and also spoke to him enough to kind of feel that this might be
82.
in the offing. I think one other thing that I kind of
83.
suggested at the end of this afternoon with a chat with Rob, I kind of suggested that John's got to be careful when he breaks off, leaving the half ball red. He did it in frame 8 and Mark made a 137. He did it in this frame, the exact same break off, and this is the result of
85.
that. Not a lot John can do about it, granted.
'86.
But isn't it good, David, to see him play like the champion we know he is?
Absolutely. He's been such an important figure in the sport the last decade and more. Just his attitude to the game,
91.
the respect he has for it as well, because he was never given anything, Mark Selby. He had to work for it. He's still working. That may have been a kick. He's staring at the cue ball accusingly because he's been denied another century. But he's made 91 and he's one away from victory, still giving the cue ball a stare. But the fact is, he leads 9-5. Mark Selby with another big break there, 91, and he leads 9-5. This is what they're playing for, the Clive Everton Trophy, a poignant trophy this week. We lost a giant of the sport, someone who gave everything to snooker. But the game's in good hands, and Clive would be, of course, delighted about that. It's thanks to the great players who play it and the many fans who come out to watch it. And this week, they've done him proud, I think. And I know for a fact Clive was a huge admirer of both Mark and John. And I know if he was here, he would love a comeback. He would love to get as much snooker as possible out of the night. But the fact is, Selby needs one.
Thank you. The 15th frame. Max Selby to break.
So Selby went on the front foot there and it worked. Can he now put the match away? John Higgins, of course, will have other ideas, but it suddenly seems a long way back, doesn't it? First time there's been a 4-frame gap.
Yeah, John has trailed 9-5 in big finals before and prevailed. But this seems like a mammoth task ahead of him. What does he have left? I hate to say it, but there's a tinge of resignation about John's face there. He's not giving in, not by a long shot. But Mark Selby,
Well,
like all the great champions, is a tremendous finisher in finals. Oh, look at this cue ball. I mean, I know it's not the most difficult shot ever, but it's almost effortless, quite honestly. And just when the winning line is beginning to present itself, that's when so many times in the past he
Bang.
truly comes alive.
$12. 13.
Yeah, here it is then. No problem with, as we know, the power into the three together and get the cue ball spitting back towards them. Just fabulous. It really is. That is awesome. All right, his next shot's going to be awkward, but look at the spread. If this next shot goes correctly,
20.
they're going to be all there for him.
It's just so awkward to get to, but he's played it superbly. So this is a serious chance now, as Alan says, to get it won. Of course, he hasn't qualified for the next event in Wuhan in China at the weekend, but this will more than ease the blow of that.
$28. 29.
I think Mark Selby's a player who's been massively misunderstood and misrepresented actually over the years as a slogger and a grinder. If you've watched today's final, you'll have seen the different levels to his game, the different facets to it, including the scoring, the shot making, and in situations like this, the bottle as well.
$36.
Because everyone has their favourite styles and favourite players and preferences on how they like to see snooker played.
37.
But you know what? What's not boring? Winning.
$42.
He took a little time out in the last frame, on about 20 odd, just to get his mind on the order that he wanted to take the red colours. And he's kind of done the same just then. Just kind of going round looking at things that weren't really there. They weren't really a thing. Because it, stun the red in, you get a straight pink. But he's that smart and clever. I was talking about
the second man,
the late great Ray Reardon disguising things when he was playing. It's a trait that Mark Selby also has. Even there, just clean the white, please, referee, or the pink's going to be spotted. So he backs off, little time out, sip of water, just keep everything nice and calm.
Yeah, it's a good comparison. I mean, Ray Reardon, he would use sort of laughter, wouldn't he, to his advantage. It'd be all smiles and then suddenly go for the jugular. We saw a little bit of that last night with Selby after the re-rack. It was all laughing and joking. Next minute, a long red had flown in, he won the frame. Another legend that we lost earlier this year, Ray Reardon.
$50.
Truth is, we're all standing on the shoulders of giants. One day they'll be naming trophies after this man.
$55.
Shouldn't be a problem because any angle on the next black, even straight, is absolutely fine.
$56.
There you are. He's pretty much straight, but the red to right centre, if he wants it, will do nicely. Just another timeout, a little breather, because he knows he's almost there. But as is his way, he typically plays a shot that certainly...
63.
I know Stephen Hendry believes, and I do too, that he's the best in the game at that shot. Red and a simple blue to follow. He's going to be the champion.
64.
Yeah, at the end of last season, Mark Selby was very disappointed to lose in the Tour Championship. First round of the World Championship, was talking about possibly retiring. Thank goodness he didn't. Because when you can play like this, why wouldn't you want to carry on? He's so tough. He's proved it again. Barring snookers, this is for the title.
$69.
Would love this in, just to, you feel, confirm it. And it goes.
70.
And now the relief will descend. John Higgins, a week ago, dropped out of the top 16 after 29 years. The obituaries were being written for his career. Typical Higgins, he got back in after a week. But he'll still be disappointed, of course, not to get his hands on the trophy. But what can you say about the man at the table? What a warrior he is. What a fighter.
73.
What a player. Full stop. We saw a week ago at the English Open, Neil Robertson return after a barren spell. These great players do not stay down for long. Their resolve, their determination.
81.
comes back to the fore again, as it has done this week for Mark
82.
Selby. Remember, he had 4 deciders, some of them very close, that he had to survive. But he played really well last night in the semi-finals, even better in the first session this afternoon, and again at the end of this match to get it won. 91 in the
87.
last frame, and whatever this is up as.
'88. '93.
He wants a century. He'll settle for 93.
Selby, 93.
Mark Selby ends an 18-month wait for a world ranking title. John Higgins, as ever, gracious in defeat. It was a wonderful first session. Hard fought at the start of the evening, but Selby pulled away at the end. He wins the British Open for the first time, ranking title number 23. He's beaten John Higgins by 10 frames to 5.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a privilege for all of us to have been here to see 2 four-time world champions going toe-to-toe in a final that the late, great Clive Everton would have loved. A round of applause for 2 great finalists, please. John, a wonderful run to a 56th ranking final, the first in over 2.5 years, but he was just too good tonight.
Certainly was. He put on a clinic tonight. Yeah, he played amazing. I'm just disappointed. The 10th frame tonight, I had the balls at my mercy, and I couldn't close it out to make it 5 each, and then you always know there's a certain point of the match, and that was at the point where I sort of gave it away, and then Mark just get stronger and stronger. And yeah, he played amazing. That's what he does. He's Mark Selby. That's what he does.
But overall, there are some great positives from the start of the season. Last week, 1,000 centuries. We know the cue got damaged in Paris on the way back. You're happier with the new measurements. And you've still got the gas to make it to these massive showpiece finals.
Yeah, no, listen, I've loved it. I thought the crowd were fantastic. The conditions over the weekend was great as well. Great conditions the weekend. No, listen, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed today playing. Just a bit disappointed that the session tonight, I didn't bring anywhere near a good enough game to compete with Mark. But listen, every credit, congratulations, and he played amazing. Yeah,
he did. He absolutely did. And John, you know, we sometimes take your longevity for granted. It's incredible that it's 3 decades since you first made a ranking final and won the first of your 31 ranking titles. Would you have believed back in '94 that this great run and this fantastic career would have lasted this long, this close to the top?
No, no, got to be honest, no. So, no, listen, I'm still proud. I'm still trying to compete with these top guys, but you've got to bring a higher level, and I don't know if I've maybe got it. I don't know, but listen, it was, yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the final, but Mark was too good.
And we enjoyed watching. And lest we forget, ladies and gentlemen, we made a lot of the fact that John Higgins dropped out of the world's top 16 7 days ago. Big Hig is back in the 16. Mark, what an opponent, what a stage, and what an occasion. You are a ranking event champion once again.
Yeah, I played great today, Rob. You know, from start to finish, I don't really feel as though I made too many mistakes. I think the frame at 7-4, I've missed a red in the corner. I've not decided what shot to play. I should have got back up. And John ended up pinching that frame, and I'm going to the interval thinking, you know, could that be the difference between me winning and losing it? But, you know, I kept on going and kept my focus, and when I had my chances, I took them.
First ranking title, the Welsh Open, coming from behind to beat Ronnie. Hard to believe that was a decade and a half ago. You've done everything. You've both won 4 world titles. But where does tonight sit in your all-time list of achievements? I think this feels quite special, doesn't it?
Oh, just winning any tournament nowadays, you know, is special because the standard is so tough. But, I mean, John saying, obviously, he's not sure whether he can get to a higher level is a load of rubbish, in my opinion. You know, I've got so much respect for John. And his family as well, you know, obviously the great people, and he's one of the all-time greats. And every time I play him, I just relish the moment, you know, because he's an absolute legend.
He is. And you're becoming a legend as well. And you know, it was only the early part of the spring that you said, listen, I'm not sure, I think I've had enough of this. And it's wonderful to see you working through the difficult times. It looks like you're enjoying your snooker again. And when you're enjoying your snooker, you're great to watch and you're very, very hard to beat.
God, to be fair, Rob, if I keep having 60-siders in a row, I'll definitely be not looking forward to it again. But, you know, I dug in this week. There was a couple of games. I always say if you win a tournament, you're never going to breeze through, you know. There's always 1 or 2 matches where you should have probably lost and you've managed to scrape through. And I managed to do that this week.
And we've all avoided mentioning this for the entire week. But now you've won, we can. You have broken the ITV curse. You've won a title live on ITV at last.
Yeah, you know, obviously the guys in the box are digging me out every time I play an ITV event, saying any chance of winning one. But, you know, yeah, it's nice to win one. As I say, to win any tournament. But to beat John in a final, obviously I knew I had to play the top of my game, and that's what I did today.
Mark, you always were a great champion. You are again tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, here in Cheltenham, Mark Selby is your champion.
So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our presentation party. Adam Gastill, Head of UK Marketing for Unibet, and Simon Brownell, CEO of World Snooker Tour. Now for our runner-up, receiving a cheque of £45,000, John Higgins. And receiving a cheque of £100,000 and the Clive Everton Trophy, your 2024 Unibet British Open champion, Mark Selby.
And there he is then, our new champion, and there goes the glitter cannon as well. It's the British Open champion 2024, it's Mark Selby. Wonderful, wonderful performance. What a fantastic final we've enjoyed here this evening. And we'll get lots more reaction to that victory, but Stephen and Neil here just enjoying the scenes. That was special, wasn't it? That was special for Mark tonight.
It was. He's one of the greatest players of all time, and the way he played today, he's back to his best, and he did what all the top players do. He found his best form at the end of the tournament. Played fantastic last night against Mark Allen, and he played incredible today against John Higgins.
Yeah, I mean, great players will always come back to their best. He's been a bit in and out, but he's always had that way of just winning matches even when he's not been playing well. And even this week he's done it at the beginning, the Pandyan Su match, a few others as well where he looked beaten, but he got through, Yan Sijun. But now he knew, I think, that wasn't going to be good enough, and he upped his game over the weekend. You know, he played really well last night in the end against Seemed not to be able to find a way to beat him until he attacked him, but even then that didn't work. And John Higgins is playing well again. Mark is playing brilliantly, and you know, he is one of the great players. He's really been in slumber that long, but he's just not. He just hasn't quite looked himself for a while, for maybe Snooker. But you know, he's back and he's won an ITV event, and all that's forgotten about now. And who's to say he won't win a whole lot more over the next few months?
Well, we'll enjoy this one. Great to see him with his family there, and now just celebrating with some of the fans. And we'll hear maybe more from Mark and reflect on a fabulous week of snooker here in Cheltenham after the break.